At the Project Inspire convention, you meet many extraordinary people. You saw throughout the Shabbos, you saw the videos of previous conventions, we've met many, many inspiring people. Our next presenter is not an exception. Justice Richard Bernstein is a Supreme Court judge who advocates on behalf of disabled people. He is an avid runner who completed 22 marathons, including 13 New York City marathons. He is also a frequent visitor of the Aish Torah World Center and Essentials classes, which he himself has deemed life-changing. He made the trip special to join us for Shabbos from Detroit, Michigan, to be here with us and to inspire us. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to introduce to you the Honorable Justice Richard Bernstein.
A writer once penned that during times of tragedy, the streets of heaven are filled with angels. We ask ourselves, what kind of a God are you? You take from us the kind, the warm, the good-natured, the innocent. What kind of a God are you? Yes, the streets of heaven are filled with angels. I got a call one morning from a wonderful young mom. She said, Richard, I'm reaching out to you because I know you care about people with special needs and those who are disabled. Help me to understand how I can follow all the rules. I can do all that is asked. And yet, God would give me a child with severe special needs. Tell me, what kind of a life is my newborn going to have? Is he going to have friends? Is he going to go to school? Will I ever become a grandparent? What will happen when I'm no longer here to care for him? I go to my friends' homes and they're filled with life and energy and vitality. What kind of a home am I going to have? When do you think my family will ever have an ordinary life? And when do you think we will reach a point where we will no longer have to suffer? It was immediately after my election to Michigan's highest court that I remember having a conversation with some other judges about what qualities must a person have to be a jurist when making decisions that affect people's entire lives, their freedom, their education, their environment. What qualities must a person have to render such a verdict? And people said, oh, it's your academics, it's your intellectualism, it's your ability to research and to write. And I remember saying, none of those things allow for you to make such decisions. And when asked, what is the quality that matters the most, I responded by saying, it is our life experiences. Life isn't always about being happy. It's not always about smiling. It's not always about finding joy. Hashem gives us our life experiences for a purpose, for a mission, and for a reason. But He asks us to use the experiences that He gives to have an impact, to create change. So I remember telling this wonderful young mom, there will be nothing about your life and your family's life and your child's life that will ever be ordinary again. For you simply have to believe that you were sent here to be extraordinary. And I don't believe that Hashem would ever create any spirit or any soul with the idea that they are sent here to suffer, but there are some who do have to struggle. And it's through that struggle you come to find identity. It is through that struggle you come to find mission. It is through that struggle you come to find purpose. It is through that struggle that you come to know, understand, and truly appreciate Hashem. We ask ourselves, the eternal question, which goes back to the book of Job, which is, why is it that if Hashem is so good, he allows for such suffering? Why is it that bad things happen to otherwise such good people? An easy life does not always correspond to a good one. So often we will face setback, struggle, pain, and hardship, and people will come to us and they will say, I hope that you make a full recovery. But in life, for many of us, that's simply not possible. The loss is too great. The setback is too grand. The pain is too much. When we reach those points, we can't focus on always recovering. The key is to adapt. Aish teaches us how to adapt to a new life, to a new world, to a new experience. Now, I have been blessed, as you've heard, to have the opportunity to complete 22 marathons and a full Ironman competition. For those of you who are unfamiliar, the Ironman is a 2.4-mile swim, followed by a 112-mile bike, to be completed by a 26.2-mile run. The rules of the competition are quite simple. If you stop, if you rest, if you take a break, you run the risk of missing a cutoff. If a cutoff is missed, you will be immediately disqualified from the competition. If you finish at 12:05 instead of 12 o'clock, it is like you were never even there. So I invite you to picture, if you would, the feeling you would have as you dive into a frigid body of water. The water temperature that morning was 55 degrees. Imagine swimming in total darkness, having no idea where you started or where you're going or where you are, getting kicked in the face by all the other competitors, and having others become entangled and ensnared in the rope that connects you to your guide. And as you become entangled, the rope becomes constrictive. And as it constricts, it starts taking you below the surface. You try to get oxygen, you try to get air, but it becomes impossible. Aish teaches us that at moments like this, you come to find that the body is mortal and the body is infirmed. But you also come to realize that the spirit and the soul can rise and reach levels that you never dreamed or ever thought was possible. We also come to find that life can change at an instant. It can change without notice or without warning. It was a beautiful day in New York Central Park. I was walking in the pedestrian lane that serves as a circumference. August 13th, 85 degrees and sunny. I had done 17 marathons and an Ironman. I was in prime condition. I had used athletics to challenge my blindness, to find my strength, to find my resilience, to allow for me to have a sense of identity. And as I walked, a bicyclist was traveling at a speed of an excess of 35 miles an hour. And due to such a high rate of speed, he could no longer maintain his bike, and in doing so, veered into the pedestrian lane where I was walking and struck me directly in the back. Now, a 35-mile-an-hour impact is catastrophic. It required over 10 weeks of hospitalization at Mount Sinai Hospital. Life is never about the big things. It is always about the little. You remember how it felt to have the chance to not be able to use the bathroom or take a shower. You remember missing what it was like to sleep through the night without having to writhe in an indescribable level of pain. People would come to visit and I would ask them, so tell me, where are you going to go when you leave Mount Sinai? And they tell me in a mundane, rudimentary fashion that, oh, I'm going to go back to the office or have some dinner, pick up my dry cleaning, and always say, those are the things that I crave. Those are the things I dream about. Those are the things that go to life at its essence and life at its core. It is never the big things. It is always the little things that make us who we are. And I ask each and every one of you here today to celebrate every victory, every achievement, no matter how small or insignificant you might think it is. I ask you to find joy in it. In my situation, I celebrated the fact that I could sit up in bed. I celebrated the fact that I could use a walker. And I celebrated the fact that I could reach the nurse's station at the end of my ward. Now, in the last remaining moments that I have with you here today, I share with you one last story. It was a short time ago, and it was time for the New York City Marathon. This would be my 18th marathon, but the first after a catastrophic injury. Running through the streets of New York with a shattered hip and crushed pelvis was going to be quite difficult. But in life, there are certain things that just have to be done. So we ran to the streets and approached the 59th Street Bridge at mile 18, began running up First Avenue. The pain was becoming so severe and so intense that I remember reaching up to the heavens and praying to Hashem that he would allow for me to finish this race without losing consciousness, without passing out. I believe it's okay to be angry with Hashem. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be disappointed. It's okay to express your discontent. It's okay to have these emotions because they're human and they make us who we are. It's more than appropriate. What you come to find at certain points where the pain is so intense, that's when your miracle will happen. For that's when you will find a sense of peace. Peace with your new life. Peace with your new body. Peace with your new circumstance. But most importantly, you're able to make your peace with Hashem. Why is it that bad things happen to otherwise such good people? Why is it that there are some who have to know a greater struggle or greater hardship than others? Aish teaches us. And I believe the answer goes something like this. At a certain point in life, you can't spend your time and your energy and your effort focusing on how you're going to get over it. For you come to realize that there is simply no other alternative but to just get on with it. For we learn through our studies and we learn through our spirituality that it's those who know struggle, hardship, and pain who will do what is hard and achieve no less than what is great. We must live our lives like a great story. Within any novel, there will always be chapters. Chapters of pain, setback, frustration, and loss. But it's only through those chapters you can come to find hope, joy, and triumph. For the angel came upon Jacob deep into the night, and there existed a tremendous battle that raged until the sun rose. And at that time, as the story goes that we all know so well, the angel blessed Jacob, but gave him a new name, the name of Israel, which, as we know, means one who struggles with God. But Jacob was wounded after the battle. He lived his life with a shattered hip and would walk with tremendous pain. It is only through that struggle and through that pain and through that hardship that he was able to relate, connect, understand, and empathize. It was only through his experiences that he could lead a people and be the founder of a nation. If I hadn't had the experiences I have been able to have, I wouldn't be as good a justice. I wouldn't be as kind. I wouldn't be as merciful. I wouldn't be as understanding. Our life experiences are given to us for a reason. Let us celebrate the lives that we have, for the good and for the bad. But let us use the experiences that we are blessed with in the way that Hashem intended for them to be used. Let us celebrate life for who we are, the way that we're created, and what we are sent here to do. But most importantly, let us celebrate the idea that, yes, our bodies are mortal, and for some of us they are infirmed, but it is our spirits and it is our souls that truly know no bounds. And with that, let us say Amen.
He knows. Thank you, Judge Bernstein, for coming.